Welcome to Third Alarm. I'm Norm Spafford and I'll be your host as once again we take a closer look into the inner workings of the fire service. Cobb Fire is proud to bring you Third Alarm as a means to learn a little bit more about our chosen career. You also may want to note that Third Alarm is solely produced, written, and brought to you by career firefighters. So sit back a while and over the next 30 minutes we'll learn a little, laugh a little, and hopefully come out the other end a whole lot wiser in the ways of the fire service. Today we're at the corner of Paces Ferry Road and Courthouse Street, the home of Cobb Fire Station number 5. And as you can see, it has all the markings of a new building. That's because it is. However, the property this building sits on is rich in fire history. You see, this property was deeded over to the county by Ruth Carter Vanneman for the sole purpose of fire protection for the Vinings community. In early 1961, the original fire station was built here and was then part of the known Lemons Vinings Fire District. 11 years later, it became Fire Station number 5 in the newly incorporated Cobb County Fire Department. For over 45 years, that structure faithfully served this community, but finally fell into some disrepair and needed a facelift. So in 2008, the old structure was raised and this new building put up in its place, opening in October of that year. It's awful hot out here. What do you say we walk inside where it's a lot cooler? My, that's better. You know, we all expect to see firefighters on emergency scenes. Fires, accidents, medical calls, the occasional cat stuck up in the tree. Well, come to think of it, have you ever seen a skeleton of a cat in a tree anyway? Anyway, that's the life of your dedicated public servant. However, this sense of public service goes far beyond the emergency scenes. Right now, let's visit with firefighter Danelle Boyd as she brings us up to speed on another way firefighters answer the call for a worthy cause.
We're out here this morning on South Cobb Drive at the Chick-fil-A in Cobb County, Georgia. We're out here with crew from Station 2 for the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation Give Burns the Boot Drive. Good morning.
How you doing?
Great. Kathy, how long have y'all been out here this morning?
Oh, probably about an hour and a half.
And how much money do you think you've collected at this point?
I think we've collected maybe a couple of $100.
Oh,
so.
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
I've watched several people donate money from their cars as they go up to the drive-thru, James. Do you think they realize exactly where this money is going?
Well, we've actually talked to the people a little bit. We've had some mixed opinions.
It goes to a fireman's fund that goes to different charitable needs.
Well, I hope it goes to treating burn patients.
I always just support anybody that's supporting the county with us, helping us.
The money is for equipment for the firefighters.
Yeah, you're right. I noticed a lot of different opinions of where the money goes. Could you please tell us exactly what this money is for and where it goes?
Well, sure. The money goes directly to the Georgia Firefighter Burn Foundation, and the Georgia Firefighter Burn Foundation supports children in the state of Georgia that are burn survivors. So if you're 18 years or younger and you spent more than 3 hours in the burn unit, either at Augusta or Grady, then those burn units put the surviving families and the burn survivors themselves in touch with the Burn Foundation. And then they start following up with the families and give the family support, psychological support, and then general support for whatever's going on with the actual treatment of the burns that happens. When we're out here, we try to hand out these information cards to try to educate people on exactly where the money goes. One side teaches about hot water heaters, which of course burns more kids than anything else in the state of Georgia, but the other side tells people exactly how the Burn Foundation works and gives them information on where their money's going.
So education, prevention.
Exactly.
So as far as the children, they have a camp for the children. Is that correct?
That's
Camp
correct.
Ulula?
That's correct. That's kind of the crown jewel for the Burn Foundation. Camp Ulula is a camp for those burn survivors that are 18 years or younger, and they can go for 1 week up to this camp.
And it's a free camp for burn children, right?
Right. If they've been through the burn experience, had the burn experience, then yeah, they don't pay anything to go to the camp for that week, and then they get to spend time with other burn survivors their age, where there's also kids, that are younger and older, and that maybe have had to live with the burn experience for a longer period of time. And that can be a real big support, especially for a newly burned child, to understand that, hey, over long term, here's the things you might need to do in order to learn how to survive and deal with the burn experience.
Well, I think that's a great idea, and I really appreciate everybody's help out here today.
Oh, certainly. It's always a lot of fun. It's a good chance for us to be out and interact with the citizens and, and get away from the station for a little while.
Again, we're out here on South Cobb Drive in Cobb County, Georgia, with the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation Give Burns the Boot Drive.
Thanks, Danelle. Supporting the Georgia Firefighters Burn Foundation has become an annual event, not only in Cobb County, but across the state. And every time we hit the streets shaking the boot, you've reached down deep and supported us generously. And for that, we thank you. Fire Station 5 is not only new, but rather unique as, obviously, it's a two-story station. Here in Cobb County, space has never been an issue, so traditionally all of our stations have been one level. Here in Vinings, it was a problem, so this broke the mold and became our first multi-level station in the county. The apparatus bays, bunk rooms, and some offices are downstairs. Up here, they've got the living spaces and, of course, the kitchen. Joining me today are Steve and Rusty. So, guys, thanks a lot for letting us join you today.
Welcome. I'm glad to have you.
You know, I've been at a lot of firehouses, and usually there's one or two guys who are the chief cooks and bottle washers. Who does most of the cooking around this station?
We're pretty lucky at this station. We have several people that can cook.
Excellent. Well, you know, I'm really tempted to ask you about the famous firehouse chili, but I think with the temperatures as they are outside that maybe that might not be quite appropriate. So, Rusty, what have you got planned for us today?
Well, just because of the heat, we didn't want anything really heavy, so we're going to go with some simple BLTs and maybe some fruits just for a little dessert on the side.
That looks like a great menu, and I'm really looking forward to sampling your wares. You know, preparation and being ready is a constant necessity for any firefighter. When we return from the break, we're going to take a look at some high training.